without further ado, really excited to introduce you all to our next speaker, Eileen Dong, who's the Executive Director of Hope, Pyx Global, and subject matter expert on human trafficking. Eileen, I had the opportunity to meet you, and your story is personally really inspiring to me and many others as well. So just really excited for our group here to hear your story.
Well, thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Himaja. Thank you, Ray, for inviting me. Today, I wanted to address the intersection of housing, migration, as well as human trafficking, their intersections, and how it impacts the youth. And as we gather here today, I want to discuss the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, especially relates to Article 3. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, security of person. Article 13(1). Everyone has the right of freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. And I also would like to address a few of the SDGs that's related to human trafficking, such as SDG number 5, gender equality, number 8, good jobs and economic growth, number 10, reduced inequalities, number 16, peace and justice, last but not least, number 17, partnerships for the goals. So, some of you might be asking, like, what is the definition of human trafficking? So according to UNODC, human trafficking is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of people through force, fraud, or deception with the aim of exploiting them for profit. Anyone can be a victim, regardless of your national, race, gender, social, and economic status. And there are several different kinds of human trafficking forms, including labor trafficking, sex trafficking, which our previous speaker also nicely mentioned that, but there's also some of the uncommon ones that doesn't get talked about a lot, which is domestic servitude and forced marriage. In the interest of time, today we'll be mainly focusing on the commercial sexual exploitation of youth, which is also known as child sex trafficking. And some of you may be asking why we call this child sex trafficking. According to the federal law, this term child covers anyone that is under the age of 18. And we have just commemorated the World Refugee Day on June the 20th. Unfortunately, all the displaced populations particularly are vulnerable to a range of human rights violations, including housing. They may be refugees, asylum seekers, migrants, and displaced of housing so that they're unable to have a stable housing and lack of support systems. And these become easy targets for our traffickers. And other risk factors may include financial constraints, lack of education, language, and cultural barriers, untrust of law enforcement, or state and legal and immigration status. Each of these risks will increase the risk of exploitation. What is important to know that while these, whether it's migrants, refugees, are at high risk of being trafficked victims, it is also happening in our backyard. I am here located in Houston, Texas. Unfortunately, Houston counts the #1 city when it comes to crime rates for human trafficking in the entire United States as the #1 city, and Texas counts as #2 states. And here in Houston, there was a case, a mother was trafficking her own little baby girl, 2 years old, to sell her for sex. Fortunately, the buyer was an undercover cop, and the baby girl was rescued and the mother was arrested. I wanted to address this because this is happening in our backyard. And just this week, we had celebrated the Juneteenth, which is to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. But human trafficking is modern day slavery. And only when we all work together can we fight this and end human trafficking altogether. So today, I call all of you to act with me, to take the action with me, to take the action to prevent by raising the awareness, to take the action to support our victims and survivors. But thank you all for joining me today, and thank you for having me, Imaja and Ray, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Eileen. That was super important information. And thank you so much for sharing these crucial action items, whether they're actions that we can take on the individual level, policies that we can continue to push forth. I mean, this type of advocacy needs to happen in our own communities, and it needs to happen nationally. And you've been leading the fight for so much of it. I can't thank you enough for everything that you do to support human trafficking victims. So just thank you so much for everything that you do, and we're so grateful that you're here.